Welcome back to Retirement by Faith. And I call it that because I'm a person of faith. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in the Holy Spirit. But it also takes a lot of faith to retire because no matter how much preparing or planning you might proceed with, life happens. Things happen. You don't know what's going to happen. And some of these things could derail your retirement planning. And so I thought I would start this channel so we can encourage each other along the way. This video is about getting ready for retirement. The first thing you need to do is you need to get a job. I know it bites, it stinks. I gotta get a job. I know. But a job is going to be your power supply that's going to give you what you need so you can retire when you want to retire. And I highly recommend getting a job where you profit from it personally and professionally and not just financially. Because if you like the job you're doing, you're more likely to stick with it and stick with your goal of saving for the future. Now, I realize you can't always get that job right away. Sometimes you got to take what you can take until you get what you want to get. Makes perfect sense to me. But it should be your goal that you end up with a job that you like. In addition to get a job, you need to get a goal. When do I want to retire? Do I want to wait until I'm 65 years old and don't have that much energy left? Or do you want to retire while you still got some gas in the tank so that you can fulfill some of your personal hopes and dreams? Once you decide how much you want to retire, you can decide how much you want to defer to your retirement plan. Maybe you work for a company that has a 401k. That would be fabulous. You could have them defer money into that before you even see your paycheck, then you're not going to miss it. And make sure it's invested in the S&P 500. I've heard so many sad, sorry stories of people who invested in their company's stock, and then the company went south financially, and then the company stuck their grubby little fingers into the pensions of the employees and took the money out, and they were left with nothing. Don't let that happen to you. Make sure it's going into the S&P 500. Also, start a Roth IRA and put as much as you can into that each year. That's what my wife and I did for 25 years. And now those Roth IRAs are powering our retirement. So have that plan. If you want to retire a little sooner than 65, you're also going to need a taxable brokerage, an account that you can draw from no matter what age you are. Put as much as you can into that so that you can use that money for living expenses. That's the account that my wife and I used to buy our house. So you're going to need a 401k if it's offered, Roth IRA, and a taxable brokerage. And if your company doesn't offer a 401k and you're able to do it, you could start an IRA on the side. But I would say that the Roth and the taxable brokerage are the biggies that you need to do. So you need to get a job, you need to get a goal. Number 3, you need to get your debts paid off. You don't want to go into retirement owing $75,000 in student loans. You don't want to go into retirement deep in debt because you're making $900 a month payments on your vehicles. You don't want to go into retirement carrying a heavy mortgage. If at all possible, even before you start putting extra money aside for retirement, put that money aside to knock out those debts as early as you can. That's what I had to do. I had student loan debt, I had car debt. I finally got completely out of debt by the time of my early 30s, and then I was able to really start saving for retirement at a rapid rate. And so the earlier you get that knocked out, the better. The fourth thing you need to do to get ready for retirement is to get a savings plan, making sure you're invested in an S&P 500 index fund or the Vanguard Total Stock Market and putting it in there faithfully on a regular basis. And also, we talked about the taxable brokerage. And number 5, you need to get your health in order. I think it would be really unfortunate if you prepared for your financial retirement, but you didn't prepare physically for retirement, so that by the time you retire, you have no energy to do anything, or you're spending all your money at the doctor or on medicine or at the hospital. Now, I understand there's certain things that you can't avoid. I didn't know that I was going to get hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. I didn't know I was going to get non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I didn't know I was going to get some of these things. So there are certain intangibles that life just throws at you that you don't know for sure what's all going to happen. I get that. But as far as it depends on you, take care of your body. This is the only body you have. It's not like you can trade it in for another one. So do your best. So get your health in order. Eat right. Don't eat a lot of junk. That was one of the mistakes that I made, is I ate a lot of junk and my teeth are not as in great a shape as I wish they were. I'm telling you, from this side of things, take care of your health. Get it in order. Next thing you need to do is you need to get inspired so that you can stay with the goal. Watch YouTube videos of people who retire early and see how they did it. Watch this channel. Watch other channels like it. And let that pump you up toward your goal of retirement. And number 7, as you get ready for retirement, you need to make sure you get your spouse on board. I'll tell you, it's really hard to get ready for retirement when one of the spouses is spending the money as fast as it can come in. You know, it's going against your purposes. So, I hate to come across as overly tough about this, but if you're married, you and your spouse need to be on the same page financially for you to meet your retirement goals. Pray that God gives your spouse the same spirit, the same sense of responsibility. And finally, to get ready for retirement, you need to get educated and keep learning as much as you can. You can do this yourself. It's not that hard. You can go to Vanguard or Schwab's website or BlackRock, and you can start a taxable brokerage account or a Roth IRA or an IRA, and you could put the money in yourself every month and invest in the funds that you want to invest in. You can take control. Don't worry, there are a lot of insurance companies and brokerages who would gladly take your money to manage it for you. But if it's possible, try to learn how to do it yourself. It's not that hard once you learn, especially if you're only investing in index funds like we do, the Vanguard 500 or the Vanguard Total Stock Market, or I think Fidelity and Schwab and BlackRock, they all have S&P 500 funds. Even in my Clergy Advantage 403B, which has a lot of hedge funds and expensive funds, they also have an S&P 500 fund, and that's the one I go with for that as well, because it's got the lowest fees out of all the other funds that I see in there. So these are some of the things that you can do to get ready for retirement. I hope you guys have a great week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.